I'm Katie Martin.
And I'm Chris Hicks, and we're Extension Agents with the University of Tennessee.
Every day, Extension agents in 95 counties across the state help ensure Tennesseans have better farms, homes, and communities.
We're traveling the Upper Cumberland to introduce you to the farmers, families, and Extension agents who are cultivating communities.
Welcome to another episode of Cultivating Communities. We're so glad you've joined us for a unique episode. We've got a little bit of a different format for you today as we are headed to Cumberland County. So Chris, who will we see today?
We're going to meet up with Greg Upchurch. Greg is the Extension Agent in Cumberland County, and we're going to go to the Plateau Research and Education Center, find out about all of the research going on as part of the UT Institute of Agriculture and how Extension is involved in taking that research to the people where they live, work, and play. So we're excited about a fun day to come here in Cumberland County.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Greg Upchurch. I'm the UT TSU Extension Agent here in Cumberland County working in agriculture, and I'd like to welcome all of you to the Cumberland Plateau and more specifically Crossville, Tennessee. Cumberland County is a very unique county. It is the fourth largest landmass county in the state of Tennessee and very unique in terms of topography here. You know, the plateau here in this specific area of the country is one of the last to really be developed in the state of Tennessee just because of the remoteness, the ruggedness of this country. Like the rest of the Upper Cumberland, Crossville is very diverse in terms of its agriculture. Beef cattle is going to be our #1 commodity, as well as the timber industry is a big component of this. But if you start looking at ag statistics, you'll also find that we're unique in that we have #1 in the state of Tennessee for fresh vegetable produce, and a lot of that comes back to the snap bean industry and peas and other crops like that, squash, and we'll hear a little bit more about that a little later on. We're also diversified from the standpoint we have a poultry industry here, Aviagen, which is a global poultry industry that does actual research here and is a multiplier parent unit for poultry operations all over the United States. Diversification from the dairy industry. We've got nursery industries here. So Cumberland County is a very unique, diversified agricultural entity of itself here in the Upper Cumberland. What we'd like to do today is show you one unique feature of our county that you're really not going to find in the other counties here in the Upper Cumberland, and that is our Ag Research Center here in Crossville, Tennessee. The Ag Research Center has a unique history that it was started here to basically help those vegetable growers here in Cumberland County, specifically potatoes, but it has grown into far more than just doing vegetable research, and we'll talk about some of those things. So we'll introduce the station superintendent here, and we will talk about how Ag Research and UT Ag Extension and our volunteer bases here in Cumberland County work together to really tie in that research and get that information out to our general public. So sit back, enjoy yourself. We've got a lot of people to introduce today and a lot of topics here to discuss here in beautiful Crossville, Tennessee.
Hi, my name is Walt Hitch. I am the Research Center Director here at the University of Tennessee Plateau Ag Research and Education Center in Crossville, Tennessee. I want to welcome you today and just kind of give you a little bit of history of this center here. It was founded here in 1943, and we exist on 3 different tracks here in Cumberland County. On this particular track, we have 650 acres, and this is mostly where we do our beef heifer development, fruit and vegetable work, and some ornamental work. And those are the 3 primary areas that we focus our research work here on the plateau. and yet we do research with literally every ag department in the Institute of Agriculture. But on the 2,100 acres, the other unit is 1,380 acres. We call it our grassland unit, and it's grassland here in the plateau because that's what we grow very well, is forage. And then what we harvest that forage with are our beef cattle, and so there we have some grazing paddocks along with about 250 what we call our mature cows, but we're a cow-calf operation, spring calving. And our third unit adjoins the 4-H camp here in the county, and we have some little isolation work that we do out there when we have some projects that we need to keep isolated from some other areas. We also are home to one of the 4 locations now, the UT Gardens, and so we have the UT Gardens Crossville, and it's just a very, very unique relationship with Master Gardeners, UT Extension, and it's just the center itself is a huge resource, I believe, not only to Cumberland County but to the Upper Cumberland region. The gardens are open to the public, daylight hours. The number of visitors just continues to increase. Facilities here to host some events. We have 2 big events here every year, fall in late August, and that is our Fall Gardeners Festival and our steak and potatoes field days. The steak and potatoes being a focus of our beef research and our fruit and vegetable research. But those are public events where we get to transfer, we get to talk about both research and applied information that can be used from producers across the state. The way we get this work done here is faculty members, mostly out of Knoxville, but from anywhere across the state or anywhere within the university, will bring their request for research here. The difference between research and demonstration means that we replicate it and can put applied statistics and make recommendations from those findings. And those are the findings that are then transferred out to the public in terms of recommendations. We do that here with a staff of 14 people on both locations, and our funding comes both from grant and contracts as faculty get funded from that, but we also have state and federal funding coming from the state legislature, and then also from the Hatch Act that comes through our dean's office out of Knoxville. So when you're looking at that structure within the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, we have teaching, research, extension, and the College of Veterinary Medicine, and they're all very intertwined. And from the public standpoint of view, we are UT, but as a research institution, we're about providing that research information that is then transferred out to the public, oftentimes through our extension offices who are in all 95 counties in the state.
After talking with Walt and learning a little bit more about how the UT Ag Research and Education Center is organized and ran, we spent the rest of the day with several of our ag research scientists talking about their experiments with vegetables, flowers, cattle, and more.
Hello, I'm Brent England. I'm the research coordinator here at the Plateau Research and Education Center, and I'm excited today to tell you about a project that we're working on with Dr. Annette Wislacki, who's a vegetable extension specialist with the University of Tennessee. The project name is Squash Hunger, and it's a multi-state, multi-site trial looking at different varieties of acorn squash for food pantries. The goals are to find varieties that are disease resistant, highly productive, and have a really good shelf life and keeping quality. The goal after that is to get these varieties into food banks. Now, there's a large need for fresh produce in the wintertime. There's plenty of fresh produce in the summertime, but in the wintertime they usually have to revert to canned food or dried food. So we're looking at the acorn squash as a nice source of vitamins and nutrients from fresh vegetables in the wintertime. As far as the growing culture goes, we're growing on plastic with drip irrigation, which is a very modern production technique that is used on a lot of large production farms. This is the 3rd year of the trial. It's taken place in 10 states, and there's 12 sites across the country. This trial is replicated 4 times, and there are 10 varieties. When we talk about replication, we're talking about putting the same varieties out 4 different times in case we have some seeds that either don't come up or experience predation by birds, or we have a disease come through or some other natural disaster that takes out some of the plot. We'll still have enough varieties left to get statistical data. We will harvest these in mid-September through early October, and then they will go back to the university for keeping over the winter to see which varieties keep the best. We'll be testing the plants as we harvest to look at disease pressure. We're irrigating these and spraying these on the recommended schedule by the University of Tennessee Extension. One other thing we learned from this trial is which varieties have the highest disease resistance, and those are really good for people that wish to grow their gardens with reduced sprays. If you start with a variety that's resistant to powdery mildew and some of the other diseases that pressure cucurbits in the state, then you don't have to spray as much or as often.
Similar to how the center's vegetable trials can be used to help home gardeners, Dr. Mark Wyndham and his team have been hard at work studying roses in hopes of creating varieties that are resistant to common diseases like rose rosette.
Hi, I'm Mark Wyndham. I'm a professor emeritus with the Department of Entomology and Plant Pathology at UT, and I work with roses and rose diseases. In the last 4 years in this field, we collected data that the geneticists were able to use to find 2 genes for resistance to rose rosette. So now we have resistance to rose rosette. And behind me is a field of seedlings in which we're doing more experiments with resistance to rose rosette, but we're also trying to incorporate resistance to rose rosette virus and to black spot disease in the same plant. Now, if we can achieve that and release that germplasm to the rose industry, well, then people growing roses in their yards will find roses to be a trouble-free plant. And that's our goal. If we can do that, life will be a lot easier for Tennessee gardeners.
The Plateau Research and Education Center is working to make life easier for Tennessee's cattle producers as well. We met back up with Walt Hitch to talk about the research being done concerning reproduction, forages, and animal nutrition within the center's beef research herd.
We're the largest beef research herd in our UT system. We have 250 cows, and we calve another about 50 heifers, and we retain about 125 to 130 heifers that we develop, and we generate some revenue by selling those off as bred heifers, and then we retain the balance of those. So we are able to do a lot of things in reproduction. So there's several faculty out of animal science, but we do a lot of things with nutrition as well. And so a real research tool that we have here is called a Grow Safe system. And Grow Safe is the manufacturer name, but what we're able to do is measure individual animal intake. So rather than having a pen full of animals or a pasture full of animals, and that being my experimental unit, the power of having an individual animal as the experimental unit means that the power of my statistics is so much greater. So rather than having 3 pens, I may have 50 animals, and so the power of the statistics is just phenomenal. So Grow Safe is a system that has a tub, and it has underneath it, the rim, it has an antenna, and so using a standard EID tag, as soon as the animal's head comes into the system, we know which animal is there, and then the feed in that bin is on 2 load bars, so their load cells are away system, and so whatever they eat, we know which animal was in the node, and we know how much they ate. So over the course of a day or a week or a month, or a trial for us is about 70 days in that system, we know exactly which animal ate what. So we can tell If a particular animal is not eating as much as its cohorts in the pen, so we may be able to look and see some sickness. But oftentimes we're looking at what's going on in the rumen, and so we're going to feed some different feeds, or we're going to look at genetics and look at how much that animal gains versus its genetic markers or genetic components. So all kinds of different things we can do with that system. Coupled with that is our RTLS, real-time location system, that we can determine where the animal is standing in the pen.
It truly is amazing what kind of data can be collected with the center's cutting-edge technology. During our visit, we also took a little time to explore the beautiful UT Gardens, where the public can get an up-close, hands-on look at research in action.
Hi, I'm Shalina Durcott, Garden Coordinator and Horticulturist here at UT Gardens, Plateau Discovery Gardens. First established in 2005 by Cumberland County Master Gardeners. By 2009, research was brought into the gardens as well by Dr. Mark Wyndham, and over the years it evolved to become part of our state's botanical garden. It's a great demonstration and research garden, not only for visitors, we get them from all over the place, but I think for our local community as well. What better way to see what plants have proven to thrive here on the plateau? We have research on disease and pest problems, as well as tests for cold hardiness, being the coldest research station and the garden in the state. We are open every day of the year, 365 days a year during daylight hours, so you're welcome to visit anytime. If you choose to come Monday through Friday, good chance you could ask questions directly to me or to one of our Cumberland County Master Gardeners, or you can come help us out. We're always looking for volunteers to help maintain the garden. In fact, we rely solely on volunteers to do so. And what better way to learn than to do it yourself? Other educational outlets we have at the gardens are classes in the gardens put together by Cumberland County Master Gardeners. Those happen and are offered throughout the year on various gardening topics, as well as wildlife. Most of those are hosted here on site. A handful or so have also been hosted over at the community complex. We have lots of educational events throughout the year as well. One of our newest research trials I mentioned we have in the garden is we have a new hardy hibiscus trial from Dr. Andy Pulte on campus in Knoxville. And this is where you can get a first look at new cultivars and varieties that will in the future be for sale. You can always find more information on our websites. If you Google UT Gardens Crossville, you'll find the website, lots of information on the website, as well as our information birdhouse when you visit the gardens, just at the garden entrance. Looks similar to a house or a birdhouse, but that holds all sorts of garden information. We have a visitor's guide in there that has a complete map of the gardens and a little bit of information about each of the plots within. The kindergarten is a big highlight. If you have children or if you're a homeschooler and want to bring out, it actually in 2018 became a certified Nature Explorer outdoor classroom. In fact, we host several kindergarten classes in the county every year. And we are a reference garden for the American Conifer Society. So if you're just curious about different conifers that thrive here on the plateau or just want to see the different kinds that are out there, I encourage you to have a look at that as well. One of the newer things we've added, you all are likely familiar with the Tennessee Smart Yard program. This is free for anyone. You can either go through the courses online, or a lot of our extension agents are offering in-person classes. And I know the Master Gardeners have done a lot of outreach and visiting people's homes, but we have the 9 different principles listed throughout the gardens to demonstrate different steps it may take to qualify your own yard as a Tennessee Smart Yard, which is largely about sustainability. As you stroll through the gardens, you can see all these listed principles. There's a QR code you can scan to get additional information. I think another great addition to the gardens.
Okay, well, Walt, I really want to thank you for allowing us to join you out here at the UT Plateau Research and Education Center. I think this is a perfect example. It shows how us as extension agents take that research information that you and faculty members at the University of Tennessee are distributing out to the public, and we're working with volunteers within our garden, and I hope that the rest of the Upper Cumberland can recognize the true gem that we've got located here in Crossville with this Research and Education Center.
Well, thanks, Greg. It's been our pleasure to host you here today. It is a gem, and I've said it before, not just for Cumberland County, but I think for the whole region and the state. You know, we have these field days, and I always in a planning session say I want participants of the field day to walk in here with a couple of things. One is something very much applied that they can take home and use tomorrow, but also the fact that we're conducting research that will better and make producers more profitable down the road. And I think some of the things we've shown today do exactly that.
Yeah, we'd welcome all of you. Come see us here on the Plateau in Crossville. Don't forget our field days that we have annually in August, Steak and Potatoes Field Day, and also our Fall Gardeners Festival. Everyone is welcome. See you then.
We have had a great day in Cumberland County at the Plateau Research Center. Thank you so much to the team for hosting us and telling us about all the neat research projects and educational opportunities that they have out there. We even made time to visit world famous Buc-ee's, so we really saw all that Cumberland County had to offer today. It was a wonderful day.
Yeah, we're full of snacks, ready to head home to Smith County. But we really enjoyed listening to the folks at the UT, on the UT Ag Research side. Walt and his crew do a great job on the research side. And then you heard from Greg on how Extension is bringing those real-life solutions that we talk about to the people of Tennessee. And so really fun day in Cumberland County. Hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel, check us out, and stay tuned for more episodes of Cultivating Communities.
What'd you call it? Modern what?
It's modern techniques.
Modern techniques, that's the word.
On research and otherwise. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. The stupid thing was moving.
Is it the thing or is it your arm?
My arm. I mean, it's possible.
But the difference is, I'm still doing stuff with UT. That turd ball has just cut everything off. No, put that in there.